4, 3, 2, 1. Hi everyone.
Hello, 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 hello.
Hey guys. Thanks so much for coming. Hey, you can say hi.
Hi, nice to meet you guys. Nice to given the chance to be here today.
Aw, thanks man. Thanks for coming. Thanks for taking the
Of
time.
course, of course.
Okay. So everyone, we'll just hang around until about 3 more minutes, and then we'll start proper. We'll just give everyone a chance to flow into the crowdcast itself. So just a few housekeeping before we start the introductions proper. There is a ask a question. So if anybody has questions, please feel free to put it in the ask a question. Click the link in the bottom underneath Heggy and I, here, right here. Yeah. Click ask a question and ask a question there. We have a poll to find out whether you're a beginner, intermediate, advanced Notion user so that we know how to better support you in future webinars. Both Heggy and I can better support you in our future webinars. And lastly, where in the world is everybody coming from? Heggy's in Indonesia. And what's your time over there, Heggy?
It is 6:05 now.
Okay, 6:05. So I'm 1 hour ahead of Heggy, 7:05
Mhm.
where I am. I'm in Singapore. Yes. And it's so great that we are doing in a timing that where people in the Asia Pacific can tune in.
Normally it will be 1 or 12
Oh my
a.m.
goodness.
for
Yeah.
for me.
Remember last time we stayed up for the 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I think my eye bags are still here, you know. I'm getting old. They're not going away.
It's really tiring time, but it's a good learning anyway. So I think it's worth the time.
Yeah, definitely. So guys, if you're wondering what we stayed up for, it was Kehi, another Notion Pro, interviewing August Bradley. So that was super insightful talk. I believe the video is out on YouTube, right?
Yes,
On
yes.
K's YouTube channel. So highly recommend you all go check it out. It's incredible. August is an incredible wealth of information.
Oh, he's great, but I think my brain is not as well. Maybe that's why we need to have the second brain, right? So to put everything that's spilled out of our brain.
Oh my god. I feel like even if there's a second brain, I don't think my brain can comprehend, can access my second brain. Like my brain is not big enough.
So then we'll need to make the third and so on.
I
Make
know.
as many brains as needed.
So I don't feel that clever anymore. I'm like, go back to school, go back to school. So okay, 7:07. Okay, let's start.
Let's
Okay,
start.
yeah. So hi everyone. Thanks for coming. Yeah, thanks. Exactly. APAC friendly events, right? You go, you rock. Okay, so this is Notion Singapore's, I think it's our third event, and we're so happy to have Heggy, who recently started Notion Indonesia. Thank you so much. Um, and so we're so happy to have Heggy, who started Notion Indonesia, to share with us his workspace. Now, Heggy's not a Notion pro, but Heggy is no beginner Notion user, I must say, after chatting with Heggy. Heggy would say otherwise. Don't need to be shy, don't need to be
I
shy.
I still have a lot to learn basically. So we'll see.
We all have a lot to learn. There's a lot to share and learn from each other, and
Yes.
therefore that's why I invited Heggy. I think we have had a lot of Notion pros speaking at events, um, and we do all have our certain complicated styles that we show. So I would like to somebody from the community to share their journey of Notion. And in this case, Heggy is sharing like actually a pretty complicated journey, which is how to use Notion for project management. I was really shocked, and that's why when Heggy showed me his workspace, I was amazed because it's such a simple workspace that he uses to manage both tasks at home and tasks at work. And you know, simple is not easy, guys. It's really easy to build a complicated workspace in Notion. And that's why I was like, Heggy, I see that you have experimented with your workspace, you worked on it, and I think the community is ready for a different perspective, right?
Hope so.
So with that, oh yes, one more thing. So just to be honest with everybody, like we are self-confessed lazy people. Heggy has said he's a lazy person. I'm also admittedly a lazy person. So something that is simple and doable really appeals to me. I'm not sure about the rest of you.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Heggy, and let's hear what you have to say.
Okay, so hello guys, good evening. Again, my name is Heggi. I am based in Indonesia. So d- during the day, my actual work is an engineer. I'm an automation engineer working on machineries and things. So it uh, really helps me to have these apps, to have Notion, because there are so much to do, whether it's professional work or personal work. I have tried so many other apps, but nothing really clicks to me until a friend of mine introduced me to Notion. And I think as uh, many of you, at first it's overwhelming, it's complicated. I'm not sure what to put inside. I just put writings, but as time goes by, it's been a year, a little bit over a year by now, and my workspace evolved a lot from last year to now with so much learning, so much new implementation of Notion. So I think I will go to the slide. Okay. So
Oh, by the way, guys, I didn't tell Heggy to like promote Notion or say anything good about Notion. Like this is just whatever he wants to say. There was no vetted script. Go
yes,
ahead.
I'm just going to share basically what I have used Notion for. So I'm going to explain my Notion workspace. So this is the two main things. Like Ru mentioned before, I'm kind of lazy. I want this system to be able to tell me things. Want this system to be able to let me know what I need to do today. So, well, it's kind of like having a personal assistant that are free and not many. We don't really have to maintain a lot. So this is the key. It's simple and automatic. To put it simply, I think this is the best way I can describe my workspace, my dashboard, and my database. So I have basically five database, which is the area project to do, which is interconnected between each other at a different level. And then I also have resources and the contacts. So of course, those can select these three areas convert between each other. So on the workspace side, on the dashboard side, I put a lot of today and this week and upcoming. So my to do is separated between today, this week, and upcoming things. And I use formula to basically push anything from upcoming to this week to today. So I'm not like managing. I don't have to think what I need to do tomorrow or what I need to do today. The Notion itself will let me know what I need to do today, and I also put some purpose values calendar basically just to align me and to remind me that how or what I'm doing everything in here for. And just for information, normally I input tasks or update things through my calendar view, which is actually still based on the to-do database. Why calendar view? Because it shows the whole bigger picture, so it's easier for me to put the task depending on the day. So I need to do it here, I need to do it tomorrow, I need to do it maybe next month, something like that. And I put, if you notice on the left side of the screen, I put a little bit of crows because I'm thinking that this system is like crows. Crows is a really smart bird that it can uh, distinguish people. It can manage things. There's a lot of story of crows being able to distinguish valuable uh, things, then take it. So I believe this system should be something smart, something automatic that can help me control or align with my life. Thanks. So that's why I think I'm going to show you next the demo. That's
The exciting part.
the exciting part.
I didn't know you had a mascot for your workplace, for your workspace.
Oh yeah, I like to. Okay, first of all, I like to name things. Uh, for some reason, like I like to name my laptops, my phones. It's kind of to make it a little bit more personal. And for this workspace, this system, I just name it. It should be pronounced Fanya. It's an acronym of. It's basically mentioning this is the my ally, my productive ally that can align me with my day-to-day tasks. All right. So is it?
It's a
So you
bit
can see
like
my dashboard now.
reminds me of like Iron Man. He had what, Jarvis?
Yes. Hopefully, somewhere in the future, it will be as smart as the artist. I do like Iron Man though. I do like Iron Man. Gonna be my because Iron Man relates to me a lot. He's an engineer. He plays with robots, with tools, so I relate a lot. Although I'm not as smart as Stark, obviously.
Go ahead.
So yes, this is my workspace. This is the thing that I see every morning and every night. You can see this is I mentioned earlier about the 2 days task. So I basically use link view here to put my task. I put it based on the status. This is all the things that I need to do today. I didn't put it in a toggle like the others because I would like to see this first thing without doing anything. So when I open Notion, this is the first thing that's shown to me. Remind me that I still need to work to get some money. Then I divided again by this week. So this is anything that I need to do from today up until Friday, the end of the week. And then I also put another one which is upcoming tasks. This is something that I need to do from next week, Monday next week to 1 month from now. So I set it in three different layers. And I also put the parking lot here. So parking lot is basically something that's on hold due to any reason. Maybe a task that I need to wait for someone, need there is a feedback for someone, or it basically I'm holding this due to many reasons. So I also put here the active projects. Uh, this is the project that I'm working with. I have live it through, which is this thing right now. And I also put the resources and contacts. I put a pic of my family to remind me that, well, this is basically the purpose or the value that I hold through. Everything that I do right now is for my family. And this is the calendar view I was talking about. And this is the quotes that I take that really means a lot to me. And set a goal to achieve something that's so big, so accelerating that it excites you and scares you at the same time. Always reminds me that need to go big or go home. So this is dashboard. As you can see, I mainly only work with one database using different views, whether it's today, this week, upcoming, parking lot, or the calendar view. Aside from that is basically, well, it's only for money. So if we take a look at what of the tasks, I connect this with, of course, with the area database, and if there are any projects. So mentioned earlier, the three level. First, the area database, it's the bigger scope, the one that's not related to a lot to time, like work, personal, or maybe health, or maybe business, something like that. And projects is something that's more bound to time. Uh, some big thing that might have the start and finish. I adopt this a lot from William Nutt's Bulletproof. So that's actually the first live YouTube that I see from Notion. So based on William Nutt, he was explaining how the bulletproof concept, how he normally use a separate place to store all the original database. I will show you later. And using the link view, he show it in different kind of purpose. So I put some types. It can be meeting or task or maybe an event. I use formula to decide whether it's when this should be done, whether it's today, whether it's this week, whether it's done, or whether it's parking lot. I use this is a checkbox to define if it's done. Of course, if it's done, I just need to check it. And if it's a parking lot, then I will need to check it. So I will go next to the database. So as I mentioned, I have 5 database here. The area, projects, to do, resources, and context. In the area, uh, I have several areas, personal, work. I do some volunteering, and there's a side project, which is basically my side activity or side businesses. And there's not much in here, not many properties. I just use it to align things, so it's easier to group it, whether it's related to my personal life or it relates to my works. Then the projects, same this way. Basically put all the project here. It's connected to the area to do resource. I put some status. This is an important one. So some projects might be ongoing, some projects might be done already, or it's not started. So I can choose from there. And I only show the ongoing projects in the dashboard. Next, we'll go to do. This is the thing that I access every day. I basically put everything here. And for the to do, I also make this is one of the feature that I like a lot about Notion, which is the template. Using the template, I can just decide all the properties can be automatically generated, whether it's related to work, whether it's a meeting, whether it's task, related to personal. I also put some like a holiday, for example, reminder there's a holiday in this date. I also put some reminder like birthday reminder. This is an example, my kid's birthday on the 12th. So it reminds me on the small things that I tend to forget. I forget a lot. So that's another reason why Notion has helped me on reminding that I need to do this and that. Next is the resources. I don't really use it a lot, but I mainly use it to take notes. So, or maybe if I grab something from the web, like if we put the notes, there's not many files, but I just put toggle to. I usually takes no difference on the date. Usually it's about meetings. So if, for example, this one is a meeting with factory A, I'm working a lot with factories. So I just changed the date to whatever it is. One important feature that I really like in Notion is the ability to just put today as a date, because it might take a while if you make something new, you want to put the date, it might take a while for you to realize what date it is. So instead of putting finding the date, you just use today, right? And tomorrow it will change to yesterday. So it's really neat. Lastly, it's context. I put the context, which is this example factory B, RUI. I differentiate it by type, whether it's factory, client, partner, vendor, or clubs, just related to my community work, and basically relates them to the respective tasks or projects. And I put organization here because they might be like Rui is a Notion Pro. If it's my vendor, it may be from some company. I can just put company name here. I also use templates to differentiate between a factory, person by itself, or an institution like a company context, or maybe university. Something like that. And then going back to the demo, I one of the things that are still challenging is actually the recurring tasks. Like for example, this one, uh, I do you mentioned in factory a weekly meeting, so it's a weekly meeting. I use this to define how it's recurred, whether it's weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, and I actually put in the formula, for example, here if it's bi-weekly, but I haven't changed the date, so I will need to change the date manually. Uh, it will comes up. It will show me that uh, you need to update the date to which the future date. And I also put a link view inside to the notes. So it's easier when I'm having a weekly meeting. I can just click here to see the notes. Easier to put in and easy to see what were we talking about in the previous meeting. So that's it on my workspace and on my database. It's like I think like mentioned before, I really want to keep it simple. The only thing that I did input here is the new task. Aside from that, and I really like to use the calendar view because I don't have to choose the date. I don't have to change it. So as simple as clicking the new date and use the template, like for task, for example, and I will just put the name and projects if it relates to any projects. That's done, and it will comes up automatically. I just need to click the checkbox if it's done, and it will remind me every morning and every night what I have done and what I should done for today. Right. So that's that from me.
That's so cool. So, nobody has questions. So let me ask. Woohoo. Okay, so like some context behind this that Heggy shared with me was that this is he doesn't go to office, right? So you work from home
Yes.
purely. Yeah. So with that, you don't have that. You know, when we have office tables, we have to like
Yeah.
decorate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like that's what you're doing for your workspace.
Yes. Yes. That's a good one. So I work. I have an office, but I rarely go there. Only when it's needed. Uh, Normally, I either work from home or I go to a factory because I work a lot in factory. So yes, I don't have a workspace or a work table like things. You know, people have work table, put the pictures, put accessories, this kind of things. No, I don't have that. So that's why aside from, you can see on the top part is where I remind myself, when it reminds myself what needs to be done, and the bottom part is actually kind of my work table. I put a calendar, I put a picture of my family, and I can also put like some company jargons, like the guidelines or something like that, to remind me that this is the value that my company live with, and also the value that I live with.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. So as more and more people are like working from home, then increasingly you kind of have to bring these things that you do to your workspace into your personal workspace as well as your digital workspace, right? Because a lot
Yes,
of us, even when people they have their own company sort of like workspaces or intranet when you log in, you can't customize it like this,
yes, exactly. And
right?
even when people go to, when people do have office, right now most office are open, right? So people don't really have a dedicated space. Uh,
Level.
yes, it's just a common area where many people can be there. You can use this desk today, but tomorrow it might be another piece. So it really helps to have something personalized, and to be able to use that to align with your task, with your job.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so what you mentioned was the like hot desking, right?
Yes,
A
yes,
lot of
yes,
big tech companies do that. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, okay, so okay, I'm not very familiar with William Nutt's bulletproof workspace.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I noticed there was like projects and areas. So, is that
Yeah.
if you could explain a little bit about the bulletproof workspace concept? Because I only know projects and areas is very similar to Pega Forte's para method.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So okay, the bulletproof part is actually, well, compiled from the others. The para method also one of the concept that I think it relates to me a lot, because I can differentiate between the area and the project. You know, area is a bigger thing, like personal. It's something that will not end. Like work, well, it might end. You might end your work phase, but it's not coming soon, right? Like your professional space. And the project is something that's related to, it's a time bound work. You will need
Yes.
to finish it within a year, within a month, 2 months, or something. So seeing that, it really helps me that this way of thinking, because before, uh, if I didn't see that, I never know that Notion can be built this way. I don't know that it can relate between each other.
Mm.
It's I used to only use the select properties to differentiate things, but apparently it's much more than that.
Mm.
So with this link, and there comes the self-referencing filter, there comes the uh, filtering view, link view.
Mm.
It really
Yeah.
opens up the possibility.
That's so interesting. And I
Mm-hmm.
like how within your actions, you also add like people. So
Mm-hmm.
when you have a meeting, you tag that. I think there was something else that you tagged, but I just can't remember. Okay, anyway, the people was interesting because I follow August PPV method, and he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't tag people inside. But I found that in my own workspace, I've had to tag people inside, just because we do our scheduled meetings as actions, right?
Yes. Yes. Especially when your works eventually relates to many people.
Mm.
Your professional works, like for me, I work a lot with external parties such as the factories and like the vendor, the machine supplier, those kind of things. On the other hand, internally, I also work with different kind of uh, department or division, whether it's like finance probably, or IT, or the other parts. So it helps me remind that uh, who I need to work with, because in a project, this project we are working with these people, that project we are working with that people. So it really reminds me that when I'm working with this, then this is the people related to this project. When I'm working with that, there will be another set of people that are related to that project.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you can forget. I did one project where I had like 60 stakeholders. I
Mm-hmm.
was
That's a
like,
lot, right?
it's a lot, and it was like time sensitive because an exhibition, and I just had to like note down like who was which company that I'm interfacing
Mm-hmm.
with,
Mm-hmm.
and these are all external stakeholders, so you don't want to insult
Mm-hmm.
them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot easier to insult. I mean, because they don't know you well, it's not internal company. So yeah, I wish I had Notion then, man.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's
Yeah,
really life changing.
exactly. So
And
okay.
that's another good part, right?
Mm.
I used to use another app to record that. So there is an app that can scan the name card and save
Oh,
everything. But
okay.
Notion actually have, well, it's not exactly the same thing, but
Hmm.
it it provides my purpose. So I don't have to use. I can get rid of that app and use that to do the
Mm.
same thing.
Right, right, right. Like Notion also is able to give like the CRM
Mm-hmm. Yes,
that the app provides. Yeah. And even better, it's able to link to your other stuff instead just of just a standalone CRM system.
yes, correct.
Right. Okay, so M has a question. So her question is, thank you so much for sharing your setup with us, Heggy. It's so fleshed out and seems to really fulfill your needs. Smiley face. Do you find yourself naturally updating your workspace throughout the day? Ooh. Or do you usually have to set aside time in the morning or evening to make sure it's up to date? And maybe also do resets or cleanups of your space every now and then. Good question.
Yeah. So I only, well, I spare time in the morning and usually at night before I go to sleep to basically just to check whether I still have, the important part is whether I still have overdue things that I haven't managed to finish today, and I might need to prioritize this tomorrow. But aside from that, I open this, especially the calendar view part from throughout the day, especially when I notice that I need to do this. There's a new thing, there's new task that I need to do. There's a new notes that I need to have. So those for those kind of things, I don't spare specific time for that, but I just do it because if not, I won't remember that. If I don't put it directly, by the end of the day, I will not remember that. So that's one. What's the second one?
Do you do resets or cleanups of your space?
Resets or cleanups? No. Uh, the reason is that I do believe it's important to keep archives, but in Notion, as long as we
Oh,
just take it done, it will not show. But
mm,
if you need to revert somewhere in the future, it's there. You just need to find it, and the information is still there. So no, I don't really do resets or cleanups.
mm,
I will just let Notion show what's important to me.
mm. Yeah, that's a good one. Oh yeah, and also just to clarify with if like when you mean reset or clean up, when we think of that, we think about our actions. Whether do we need to archive our actions? Do you have another like definition in terms of reset or clean up? Like
Mm.
what I'm thinking is that maybe Haggy finds that this workspace is no longer working for him. He would trash his entire workspace, and then that's like doing an entire change of the workspace. So why I'm saying this is because previously I was using Para to organize my workspace. I did
Mm.
like a 180 degrees and then I moved over to PPV. So that was a massive, massive change. So that's my version of like a total reset. So if that's what M means, yeah.
And a little bit on that, I think one of the good part of Notion that it's really customizable, right? So you can see what you need if you need to do para, if you need to do PPV, I even have difficulties mentioning it, let alone implementing it in real life. But anyways, uh, those methods are applicable depending on your needs, and not only those methods, but whatever you have in mind. Of course, most likely you are not going to just copy it all together. You will need to fine tune it a little bit to your needs, and Notion allows you to do that. So actually, that's one of the feature that I really like. Other apps, uh, maybe they are better in terms of their specific strength, but I always feel like this is good, but this doesn't suit me. This is good, but this doesn't suit me. So with
Mm,
Notion, I can choose those parts, and I can adjust this to my needs. And of course,
exactly.
sometimes it will not answer to everything. Uh, there are still a lot of room of improvement for Notion, uh, but it helps a lot, especially with the community, finding out that I thought it cannot be done before. After meeting more people, oh, apparently there are ways to do it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when you have all these different people, diverse groups of people, like trying figuring out, like they will find a
Mm-hmm.
way to get to like make like use it in also many different use cases.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, and like I saw that you had that formula. Every time you show that formula, my face goes like what the heck is that? So if you could explain the formula, like I don't really understand how does your recurring method works.
So that formula actually, I call it the status formula. It's it's the one that differentiates between the tasks that I need to do today, or this week, or upcoming, and so on. So
Mm,
aside from that, it also shows me whether it's overdue. It already passed the deadline, but I haven't finished it. Whether it's done, of course, when I check it out, and whether it's recurring things, but I haven't update the new date. So uh, in Notion, unfortunately, we cannot do
yeah, can do
automatically
recurring.
recurring tasks.
Mm,
So my workaround is I basically just update. Before I just update the date. I don't incorporate it in the formula, but I still forget things. So I decided that let's put it in a formula. So if it's a recurring task or meetings, but I haven't updated the date, it
mm.
will show the warning that please update this to, and it will show the new date, especially if it's a
Oh.
weekly and bi-weekly. So for example, like today is third, 2nd of September.
Mm.
If I have recording every Wednesday and I haven't updated, it will show update to the 9th of September. So
Could
it
you
helps me remind me.
show
I,
us?
sure.
Thank you. Not so good at visualizing.
That's on the screen right now. Okay, let's see this one. This is a weekly
Mm.
meeting.
Yeah.
You can see this is the current date. Let's say if I change it to last week,
Mm.
it will show update to September 2nd.
Oh.
Let me see.
Oh,
If
dude, that's
I
quite
change
cool.
if I change it to bi-weekly, for example, it will show update to the 9th, right?
Oh my gosh, it's quite cool.
But well, if I do monthly, I just put update to next month because my monthly thing doesn't really always happen at the same date, or doesn't really happen at the same interval.
Mm,
So just
mm, mm,
remind it update to next week.
Oh my gosh, as you're doing this, I'm thinking of like I can apply it to my housework tasks. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, I'll tell my husband, like automatic, it will automatically remind my husband that it's time to clean the cat litter, like
Yes, yes,
1 week later, that kind of thing.
yes.
And
That can be done.
yeah, and Notion will remind him. I don't have to do anything.
And it looks complicated. It even it's already a simplified version compared to what I did the first time.
Mm.
Okay, what I did the first time is it's much longer. Then I stumble upon when I access the Discord. When I'm in Discord, I stumble upon Ben, the Ben something.
Mm, mm, mm,
He,
mm.
he mentioned another way how we can compare dates. So it really simplified my formula. I updated, and it's now much simpler than it was before.
Yeah, Ben is amazing. So, guys, if you're
Thank you.
watching, like, go check out. I think it's is it bensomething.com?
Ben something. Yes, Ben something.com. Or
Bensomething.com.
notionnice.com is also his work.
Ah, okay. So Notion nice as well. So I'll drop it in chat. So Ben
Mm,
is a Notion pro in UK, and he is like a walking Notion dictionary,
exactly.
honestly. Yeah, notionnice.com has like a lot of formulas, a lot of case studies of Notion. So like shout out to Ben for creating this amazing resource.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this status will also comes up here on the today's task.
Oh
Then I need
yes,
to
it
update
shows
this.
there.
That's important one.
Okay, controversial question. Do you use
Mm-hmm.
due dates or due dates?
Okay. I only put one date, and I normally will put the DO date,
Mm,
but I only use one date. So I don't use put because again that's the important part. This is where I need to do it. If I need to do it now, then I'll put it now. I usually give 2 to 3 days before the actual deadline, the
mm.
DUE date.
Why don't you, if you have an actual deadline, because for work I assume no factory there's an actual deadline, why don't you
Mm.
use due date?
Because, well, for me the important part is where I need to actually do it. And
Mm,
I always try my best to finish it by today. And I normally give around 2 or 3 days buffer, because if by any chance I cannot finish it today, I still need tomorrow. That's why I put also offer due here. Like if it should be done before, it will show. If it's not ignoring it, it will show offer due.
oh, oh,
So this reminds you that this task is overdue. It's most likely we should be prioritized before other things.
got it, got it. Oh,
I
sorry, could you? Oh, no, go ahead, go ahead.
I I also try to incorporate like the Eisenhower matrix to prioritize things, whether it's important, urgent, important, not urgent, and so on.
Okay,
But
okay.
but I find it, first it's too complicated. Second, there's too much that I need to input. So for I decided to just no, I will not going to use it, because anyway I understand whether a task for me by differentiating it between work and personal. I believe I should be able to differentiate also the importance without the Eisenhower matrix thing.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I always tell people that it's not exactly really urgent if like nobody's gonna die if I don't do it by this time.
Yes, yes, yes.
Um, if you could go back into your tasks, there's one more formula at the bottom. What's this
This
next
one,
Monday date? Yeah.
this is actually an old. I mentioned before. I forget to delete. I mentioned before on the status that it's not used to be like this. It used to be more complicated,
Oh, okay, okay. And then you reference
because
that.
it requires me to calculate the next Monday date. But
Mm,
since next Monday date from now, yeah. But since I have simplified this, it's not needed anymore. I can
okay,
delete it
okay.
actually.
Got it, got it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, even my Notion workspace is not like there's a few random properties that's just hanging around and not doing much.
The, it will shows a lot when I after I edit formulas because I will just put another formula property to test part of it because formula is complicated, right? I need to test part of it. It works, then put it again, take
Yes.
it out, test, put it again. So if I when I do that, it will shows lots of unused formula property.
Yes, yes, totally understand. And it's great that you're testing with formulas. I think a lot of people in Notion, especially when you start off at the beginner level, like formulas can be quite scary.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and Notion's style of formulas doesn't really like if you know Excel, you can't really bring that style of formulas over to Notion. So I think that's where
yeah.
people really struggle. And the logic is very different.
Yes, yes. Some parts is uh it's unique to Notion.
Yeah.
I realized that Notion doesn't have that many functions in formula, but they have all the basic necessities.
Mm.
So, for example, like rounding up or rounding lah. They don't have rounding up or rounding down, and in Notion we cannot uh, set how many numbers after commas.
Mm. Decimal
But
places, right?
yes, decimal
Mm.
places. But even with that, we can have workarounds to do it. So Notion have all the basic necessities, and we'll need to be a little bit creative on how we use the formula.
How did you learn how to use formulas? And that's something that I get asked sometimes.
Hmm. Well, first of all, I do use formulas a lot, like even in Excel
Mm.
and in other apps for my work.
Mm.
So I really like to use it, and for specifically for Notion, again I refer a lot to William Nutt's page. He has the Notion VIP page, and
Yeah, Notion
one
have
of it
VIP.
is
Okay, let me check it.
one of it is the Formula One. So he listed all the formula there. I normally refer to that to find what kind of function I might be able to use to achieve something.
Mm. Mm. Got it. Okay. Okay. Can. Yeah, I think that's like a lot of like some questions that I had. Okay. I didn't prepare all these questions. I was just listening to you and then they all came to my head. I wasn't that hardworking. Initially, I was like, oh, maybe I should prepare questions. I was like, forget it. I'm too lazy. I'll do it on the spot.
That's good.
You
That's
can.
actually a difficult part when we are interviewing things, finding questions.
I know. Well, since anybody, if anybody has any more questions, feel free to ask. We'll hang around for maybe about a couple more minutes, and then we'll end the webinar. I'm so glad that we're doing this in good time. I see
Yes,
some. I'm
good
like, I see
time.
some office hours and they go so long. I kind of like, I cannot. I need to like eat. I need to drink.
That's important part. Let's make it simple. So show the important parts. Of course, if there are any questions and anybody knows a little bit more detail, we can explain. But what I want to show is the how it works, how it helps me, the controlling things, showing things, and I need to do. I always say that Notion reminds me that I still need to work every day. If by any chance that today part is empty, that will be very weird. Like I don't have anything to do.
I love that
We are
when
supposed to just lay around.
I love that you said it's the first thing you see when you wake up and the last thing you see when you sleep. I was like, yeah, same, absolutely.
Because if I don't do that, I some important things I will remember.
Yeah.
Uh, Mailings I can always refer to Outlook, but the tasks I keep forgetting. I used to use
You write it down.
pen and paper, write it
Mm.
down, but it doesn't really help because I'm too lazy to check the old pages
Yeah, the book, right?
to scroll through what I have right in here. So with this one with Notion, everything just comes up. It reminds me things, and it's great that we have. It also has the reminder feature, and we can. I think it's also another thing that I mentioned. We can add dates, in the page. We can type add and then tag a date, and from that we can also put reminders. So not
Mm.
only the property date, but also from there. So sometimes if I like in the notes, in the resources, especially in the notes, if there are tasks that I need to remind, I just put a reminder there to check back on it on the whenever it's needed.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, it was nice that you mentioned that because I actually forgot or slash didn't know slash not very updated the at today and then you can put today's
Mm.
date. Yeah, then I was like, I should do that. Like, how come like I didn't know that feature?
And yes, that's uh, that part is I really like it because I keep forgetting dates again. And before I know that I put the date like 9/1 or something. But one time then I forget that what date is it that I need to check my phone, find what
Yeah.
date it is. Then I realized that Notion have that capability to not put
At
the
today.
number but put whether it's today. It even shows like last Wednesday, for example, or last
Oh
week,
my
something like that.
gosh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
So
do that.
so
I'm
if
always
I if
frantically like checking my calendar.
yeah, so it really helps. It really helps, and we can
Yeah.
put it anywhere. We can put it on the name. If like we have a database, we can put it as a name. We can put it as anything.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so good to know. I'm so glad you shared that. I think that's my most valuable takeaway for today. Fail.
The these talks, like also the one happening in Discord, that's where you will find. Oh, I can do that.
Yeah,
Also,
exactly.
first you will there will be times when you are like disappointed. Notion don't have this feature.
Yes,
Then you will look around, maybe Twitter or Discord or watching these videos. Then oh, that actually can be done. Then
exactly,
that
exactly,
that, that cycle will repeat itself. Then you will find another feature that you think it cannot be done. Then you learn that it can be done.
exactly.
That's a good part.
And like if any like to the audience that are watching, it's definitely impossible to know all the features of any tool that you're using. So if you're frustrated about something, just reach out. Somebody could tell you that this feature exists and it's okay to not know it. Yeah, I half the time I'm always saying that I don't know.
And people will wonder why.
Yeah, I'll be
And
like, why are you a Notion Pro? Like,
and
oops.
another part, the one of the reason that I decided to start the Notion Indonesia on
Yeah.
Twitter, especially is I found out that there are a lot of people, especially students,
Mm.
interested to use Notion, but they find it uh, very difficult. I
Mm.
remember 1 year ago, I think the same way. So hopefully with this, and as there are more people reaching out asking questions, we can build a database of information in bahasa Indonesia, especially to make it simpler
Yes.
for the people in Indonesia, and
Yeah.
it will be easier for them to find resources. Just go to our website. I put the uh, what do you call it? I normally make a Twitter thread
Mm.
to
Mm.
explain
Mm.
things, and I put it the link into the website into our website. So you can just go to our website. We'll have a curated list of Twitter threads that I've made, and you can refer to that. If you don't find it, I have provided a chat box. You can contact me, ask whatever needed.
Wow,
If I don't if
professional.
if I don't know, then I will ask Rui to answer it for me.
I'll be like, Heggy, just can you please contact Notion support? Thanks. They're better than me. So yeah, it's I mean it's okay. It's so great that Heggy has started Notion Indonesia. on Twitter, and where he's tweeting quite very regularly in Bahasa Indonesia, so that people who are more fluent in or would prefer to learn Notion in Bahasa Indonesia can connect with Heggy there. And I'm very happy that Heggy has agreed to collaborate with Notion Singapore. So I'm not sure if I introduced myself. That actually I'm organizer for Notion Singapore. Hi, I'm Rating. You can find me at can find Notion Singapore at notion.sg. We have Twitter, Facebook, definitely more active on Twitter. So see you there. And we also have a global Notion Discord where we have a hidden secret Southeast Asia channel where like the people in Southeast Asia hang out. So join us there to spam Heggy with your support questions or spam the amazing Ben your support questions.
Yes.
Don't so bad. Everybody's there to help each other. You know, and the reason why we did Notion Southeast Asia is because we do want to have more APEC time zone friendly events in Asia Pacific. So we have currently the communities in Asia Pacific are Notion Australia. You have been for their events, Aggie. Notion
Yes.
Singapore, and now Notion Indonesia. So yes, so because we generally run this with like very small teams. I mean, Notion Indonesia is
Mm.
only you, right?
Yes, at the moment. And anybody interested, let me know.
Yes, yes. Anybody Indonesia? I think I saw somebody say that they're interested. You can go and say hi,
Mm.
right? Yeah. And
Yes.
if anybody's interested to help out, yeah. Hi, Faisal. Notion Indonesia. Is it your friend?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So Notion Singapore also looking for people to help. So with that, we can't have events every month. So we decided to collaborate. Share the load. So
Yes.
next month it'll be Heggy's turn to present to have your own speaker.
Yes. Well, still need to confirm that, but I do have plans on what to do for the next event.
Yeah, sure. No need to leak any details. Yes, we'll look forward to it, and we will promote it on Notion Singapore as well as Notion Indonesia. So hang around our Twitter pages to see. You can message us funny things as well. We might
Yes.
retweet it.
Doesn't have to be serious.
Yeah, yeah, Notion. You can see we're not very serious. Nobody wore like jackets and ties today. But at least Heggy put on a really nice shirt.
In
Indonesia represent.
it's Indonesian pride.
Next time I will. Okay lah, no, I don't want to. I don't want to wear like a Malayan. I don't want to wear like funny things for Singapore. Okay, thank you so much, Heggy, for giving us our time for preparing a presentation. It's
Thank you
time
so much for the
consuming.
chance.
No, no
No,
worries.
it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure always to share.
Pleasure is mine. Thanks everyone for coming, and we will see you next time.
Bye
Will everybody say
bye.
thank you and bye? We can say bye as well. Bye.